With the 5 process of a transfer window, of a transfer or any deal known, that is a team approaching a player, agreeing personal terms, contacting the team where that player plays, submitting the bid accepted, here we go, medical, and so on and so forth. Looks like Arsenal are really onto the right track for obviously submitting a proposal for this guy. And I've gone ahead to be tagging lots of stories this morning concerning Arsenal submitting a bid for Calafiori. And the fact is, you cannot submit a bid before you obviously agree personal terms or the player gives you green light. And in this particular scenario, Arsenal is not the only player that is wanting to sign Calafiori. Juventus is in, Chelsea is in, but guess what? Arsenal are really pushing hard, obviously getting this player. Kyle Walker-Peters is on the ladder. Also, then we are having Toni Kroos speaking about Rodri ahead of the encounter on Friday. Welcome to this channel. Smash the like button, comment, and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. And I'm here to obviously let you know that a lot is happening all over the world, but continue to smash the like button close to 200 times, and not forget to subscribe because we want to hit 22,000 subscribers in the mix. Now, let's obviously start it off with a story that came in from Fabrizio Romano early today. He said Arsenal and Chelsea remain both interested in Riccardo Calafiori, as revealed last week. Both clubs have explored conditions of the deal, expensive as Basel will get 50% of the fee. Calafiori gave green light to Juventus, but Bologna's preference is to sell abroad. Now, one of the points that I've gone ahead to help Arsenal into this deal is that the player wanted to join Juventus, but Bologna is really very agitated with Juventus on how they went ahead obviously closing the deal of Thiago Motta, who was their manager the previous season, and this time around they just went ahead and obviously snubbed him from the side of Bologna. And Bologna is like, we are not selling you to Juventus. However much you've gone ahead to give Juventus green light, we are not selling you there. And there is no way teams like Arsenal would have gone ahead obviously stand in the way, because Bologna's former manager, Thiago Motta, is the one managing the side of Juventus. So in so doing, you would at every time really notice that Thiago Motta would have gone ahead to really act as a very big influence in obviously signing on this player and bringing him to the side of Arsenal. But that's not the case, because Bologna is like, we are not selling this player to Arsenal, to Juventus. And that's where Arsenal and Chelsea have gone ahead to obviously get some wars, obviously kick in and obviously do the needful. We've seen it that it's very hard to convince a player, to join a team that his former manager is not managing right now, or when the former manager comes in through and really kicks in. Remember, this scenario had already happened onto Arsenal. Arsenal had been scouting Lisandro Martinez from December 2021. They scouted him for 6 months. They talked to his entourage, and all in the line was like, Erik ten Hag was not interested in working or coming with Lisandro Martinez at Manchester United. All he wanted was Julian Timber. When Julian Timber really said, no, I'm staying at Ajax, after threats from Louis van Gaal, by then the manager of the Dutch national team, Lisandro Martinez was obviously going to the side of Arsenal, right? And then, as the deal was coming close and Arsenal was going to make a bid, he gets his phone. He texts Erik ten Hag that, boss, I'm going to Arsenal. If at all you need my services, I'll turn around and obviously go and play for Manchester United. You get? And that's how Lisandro Martinez found himself playing for Manchester United instead of Arsenal. But Arsenal had already gone ahead to show huge intent to sign the player, and the transfer was really advanced. You remember that that transfer saga in the summer of 2022. And now Arsenal was going to go into the same ilk. But as it stands, things have gone ahead to change. And guess what? Calafiori is one of those players that Arsenal are interested in, and there is a chance for him to come in through and really join the club of Arsenal or Chelsea. And guess what? After Arsenal understanding that Bologna have gone ahead to block Calafiori's move to the side of to the side of Juventus. Arsenal have presented long-term proposal to Riccardo Calafiori after interest reviewed last week. Understood players opening to join Arsenal if they can agree terms with Bologna. Chelsea are still there. Arsenal and Chelsea, the only clubs in talks right now. So, Arsenal have gone ahead to submit a proposal to Calafiori. It's a long deal, and I know it's gonna be 6 years, because contracts beyond 6 years have gone ahead to obviously be really knocked down off by the Premier League because of how Chelsea went ahead to utilize that clause of signing close to 8 years, and they signed very many players and they changed the amount of payment. You understand? So this time round, they're offering a long contract. I know it's really 6 years, and the player is open to join Arsenal if he can agree personal terms. Now, with Chelsea in the mix, Arsenal fans remember it very well that this side of Chelsea came in through and obviously failed your deal of obviously getting in Mykhailo Mudryk. You remember that? Arsenal was ahead. They had everything ready on the table. Chelsea came in through and really hijacked. One, Chelsea can come in through and obviously offer even more than 50 million euros that is being asked by the side of Bologna. Two, they can even offer a ridiculous salary. You understand? So, this is a deal that is going to be decided by the player, I tell you. This deal is going to be decided by the player. And if the player is okay with playing for the side of Bologna, for Arsenal, I think even if Chelsea comes like a tsunami, nothing is going to happen. You get? But if the player is looking at which team is really going to offer him a lot of money, I think he might find himself really going to Chelsea. But we all know that Arsenal is going to obviously decide to pay huge money to players. And I know Arsenal are really into the leading role of this race. And we wait to see how things are going to happen. But Calafiori is open to joining to Arsenal. Arsenal have gone ahead to send a proposal to him, and I think Chelsea too have gone ahead to submit in theirs. Now, the player has to weigh in to see which team has gone ahead to provide him the best proposal that he can obviously give green light to. But a proposal has gone ahead to be submitted, and Calafiori is a player that can play on the left side of the central defense, and he can also play as a left back. And remember, this is the second time Arsenal is looking in for a defender of that caliber in another window. 2022 summer, it was Lisandro Martinez. We all know he can play as a CDM, he can play as a left back, he can play as a left-sided centre back. And Calafiori, after going to put in that showcase at the Euros, Arsenal was like, we should go in for this player. And he can play as a left back and left-sided centre back. And his coming in through will obviously threaten the presidency or the position or the stay of Zinchenko or Jakub Kiwior. I tell you, if Calafiori deal is done, one of those is going to leave. That is it. One of those is really going to be leaving the side of Arsenal. If not both, they can even leave, because when you add Calafiori in, he'll obviously come in through and really play very well. And Calafiori is really going to threaten even Gabriel Magalhaes' position. I know most of you are not interested in such conversations, but Calafiori, if at all you saw him at the Euros, he has the experience. He's going to come in through and obviously put in a very huge shift. And I tell you what, as Gabriel Magalhaes will be doing what we call his holidays, Calafiori will be training with Arsenal. He will be in the US doing what we call the preseason, and he's going to impress every Arsenal player, because if you ever saw Daniel Agger, who played for Liverpool as a left-sided centre-back, or Vermaelen, he gives me those vibes because of how good he is on the ball and how he is when it comes to putting in assists, and his game reading is okay. He's a fast player. And as it stands right now, it's really going to be a very big problem for Arteta to make a choice. But I believe Calafiori is going to come in through and obviously create more threat to the presidency of Gabriel Magalhaes into the team of Arsenal. So wait and see how that pans out. If Calafiori gives green light to Arsenal to obviously put in a bid, I'll be the first person to come in here and obviously let you know of what decision has gonna hit to be made by Calafiori to obviously see to it that he comes in through to the side of Arsenal. Talks are ongoing, discussing on what is really gonna be done. Now let's obviously go to Kyle Walker-Peters, one of the players that most of you are really well versed with, and Brighton have inquired about Kyle Walker-Peters on the radar for some months. West Ham are still pushing for Kyle Walker-Peters, and Flame donors may be part of the swap deal, but still not straightforward. Tottenham have been monitoring him as he would tick several boxes. No bid or talk so far. So, Brighton want to bring in Kyle Walker-Peters. You know, he plays as a right back and as a left back. He's one of those players that has been hugely linked to different teams in here. And at a certain point, it was linked to Arsenal. At a certain point, it was linked to Man United and other teams. But this time around, Kyle Walker-Peters returning to the Premier League with Southampton. There comes Brighton and Tottenham Hotspur interest. And for Spurs, they're really doing this because of what is really happening in their side. And they are going to be really losing Emerson Royal. And if at all Emerson Royal really leaves, that means they'll be left with just one player. That is Pedro Porro, who Real Madrid can also come in through and really snatch. And with them playing in Europe, they're like, we should be doing the needful, and we should be getting in another player who can come in through and obviously do the needful to our club. That is Kyle Walker-Peters. So we wait to see how they really get that deal done and dusted for Kyle Walker-Peters, but we'll be here waiting to see how things are really going to be panning out into the mix. So that is it for Kyle Walker-Peters, but he's really a very decent right back that I would love to watch. He is a joy for the eye. I like his pace, and defensively and offensively he's really great. He's good on the ball, and he has a very huge intensity in there for you. And if at all I'm really Kyle Walker-Peters, I would be very eager to join Spurs or Brighton, because Brighton play a very good style of football that can obviously enable him really thrive into that system and maybe put up a very huge ask to enter the England national team. Because I tell you, England looks like it's one of that team that has very many right backs. You know, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker, Kylian Trippier, Rich James of Chelsea. Then you can also talk about Benjamin White. You now talk about Kyle Walker-Peters in there for you. So that is it coming in through from Fabrizio Romano about this guy. And even the man I've been talking about, Emerson Royal. Fabrizio Romano has told us that Emerson Royal's green light to AC Milan 100% there since 1 month ago. Deal depends on clubs. So Emerson Royal and AC Milan agreed personal terms. We all know that. And after them agreeing personal terms, it's now up to them to see to it that all goes on as to plan, to see to it that this really comes to pass. And in the due course of really calling it to come to pass, these teams have to come out and obviously agree on a deal on how much they are going to be paying to the side of Tottenham Hotspur. And we'll wait to see how things really pan out. And that is Emerson Royal for you. On his holiday, he hinted onto what exactly Fabrizio is going to hit to say, that it's up to the clubs, but for him, he's ready to go. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Rokani David is my name. I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below. Arsenal submit proposal to Riccardo Calafiori. What do you make about it? Will Arsenal beat Chelsea onto this signature? What do you make about Kyle Walker-Peters? Which side do you think he should go to? Tottenham Hotspur or Brighton? Because these two sides are really showing huge intent to sign him. And Emerson Royal to AC Milan, green light given. Do you think AC Milan will meet the realistic evaluation of Tottenham Hotspur in their player known as Emerson Royal? All that and more into the comment section below. Rokani David is my name. Barakallahu fikum to the Muslims, the Christians. We cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ, and we out.